It's just going to be pretty rough, the clip. We're just going to go with it, okay? I want to be slick video work, but I've got to just get this thing done. Here we are, unit. Okay, you've been doing this stuff already. This is partially written work. That's task 1 there. That's written work. Again, that's in your final assignment, task 3. That's written in task 3. That's done by you in task 2. That's also done by you in task 2 as well. There's the end of task 2, which is these 3 items. Create a search form allowing the user to search on multiple fields in the database. Second, create a hyperlink output list. So therefore, the results should be a hyperlink of results. Then you've got to create an output. It says this is to create an output form to display search details from the different fields. Someone interpret that with me, please, what that actually means. 3.3. Create an output form to display search details from the different fields. Meaningless.
So it's going to be 2 fields. You put data in both of them, and it's going to search both of them at the same time. And output both of them. What? So output what the user put in both of them. Is that what you think?
It's quite awkward, that actually.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense. Create an output form to display search details from the different fields.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about.
It's got me too. I mean, I think
if it's one per field, then it's easy. If it's multiple, that's going to be hard.
So I think we're just assuming search page, results page, detail page. Yeah. That's the idea. Okay, further down. Insert, update, delete. Password protection is all written. That's all written. Task 3. And that's done by you uploading the work to a server somewhere. Okay. Insert, update, delete is there. So really we're looking at search. Where's the password? Password protect is right there actually. Things that are tucked away you can't see very clearly are implement password protection, implement validation checks. That's checking user input. So the first resource I refer you to, let's talk about password. Well, the easy bit is obviously index and password protection. There's the resources I'm going to be using. So in my list here, useful and relevant links, I've got down below here, search systems. There's a few tutorials here, video, longer, and search. So search systems, simple search using PHP and MySQL, useful or I call this one. Let's go over the concepts here, see if you understand them. Advert has to go. Stop, go away. So firstly, just skip through this stuff here. This assumes you have a database already, and we have one called GamesDB. And in our database, we have title, game title, right? And you've got a review. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. Because this person's example is working on a title with text. Database is being made. We already have a database, that's okay. Theirs is called articles. So when I'm showing you examples like this, you have to think to yourself, actually just think, I'm showing you this similar thing on another database. Can you take this and apply it to your database? That's the understanding I expect you to demonstrate. I'm not going to drop you code and say, copy this, you know, it's just like, that's no use. I'll show you an example, see if you can apply this, but so the whole time you're thinking, how is this going to work with my database? How's my database structured? How's this related? So you've got here, their database table is called articles. Yours is probably called Games Info or GamesDB, I think, as well. They've got 3 columns in there, one. And they say fill up this information with some random content. This is being filled up. Database ends up like this. You've got this filled version. They make 2 files, and one of them is going to be a form. Okay, the first file, you can call this file, what are they calling this one actually? You can call it find.html, keep it very simple. Yeah, find.html could be the name of the search page, or search.html. That's also fine too. It's a HTML page. It's just a form. It looks like this. The active part of it is that. Okay, crucially, it's that bit. Okay, this is what you're going to be working with, and that is written as search. So look where it's going. It's going to search PHP. I'm using the get method. Why is the get method very useful for a search? Why am I not using post, do you think? I mentioned this in the video yesterday. See who paid attention to it.
Security.
Security is one thing, but remember, with search, it's actually visible and public. I might want to bookmark my searches. Okay, so bookmarking you can't do with post. You can only do with get. So when you do a bookmark of a get page, yes, you'll keep the query in it. The search engine becomes useful that way. So I make the form, and then I do my database. So this form is going to search PHP. Okay, then search PHP is doing this connection string, localhost root, tutorial search. For you, it's got a different. You've got a different database name. And notice it's done in stages. Okay, so what happens is these comments are very useful in explaining what this code is doing. Really useful. Next part. This is the sort of like he's just making the structure here. Search PHP, do a database connection. Isn't adding this bit in there, so you've got here. So this is on bit I'm going to explain now how this query works. So $query is get query. I'm getting this word query from the search form. That's coming from there. Okay, so that's filling this up. Just going to put it into this $query. Minimum length, you don't have to have this. This just manages that you have at least a few letters rather than nothing. If you had like one letter like A, you'd get everything with A in it, which would be everything, pretty much, right? So I say minimum length is to make a search string, at least a minimum size. So it says here, if string length is measuring the length of this query is greater than the min length. So if say your word was one word, say it was the word theft, yeah, okay, right? That was the word in the game, then that's going to be okay. Theft this will give back 5, because theft has 5 letters, greater than 3. Okay, you can vary that, and I'd like you to personalize things yourself to what you think is okay. Okay, the next thing is the next sections here. These are to do with, these are inbuilt functions, HTML special cars and MySQL real escape strings will handle the tidying up of query strings, okay? So I've not discussed before the idea with you of SQL injection. An SQL injection is this. If I allow stuff to go into the search string, and I do my search and my keywords and so on, I could type into the search engine box an SQL command, okay? So I could be very cheeky, and rather than you can actually write SQL statements into forms on the web, yeah? And by doing that, you can actually inject something into the database because it's left open. Yeah, because PHP is quite insecure that way, okay? And you actually can use these get things where you see this search string, like, you know, when you have like question mark and ID equals and so on, right? Yeah, look at this, right? This kind of thing you normally see, is that right? And I don't know, category is 5, etc. You see this kind of thing going on in a PHP site at the top. Now imagine I somehow stumbled across the page that had insert, yeah? I found the insert PHP page, like the insert form for you, and I came across it. What I could do is, I could just simply spam it with different numbers and content repeatedly. I could keep hitting that page with a search string like that, and I'm therefore inserting stuff into the database. By like, this is quite a hacking approach, yeah? I'm trying to literally fill the database with junk just to make it fall over. And I can get a bot doing that as well. I can get a bot to call URL with those addresses, that kind of thing. That's effectively inserting data into a database rapidly, really, really quickly, and filling it up so it falls over. It's like an attack, yeah? Cyber attack. Now, what that's called is, this method is called an SQL injection. And if I don't protect this address here, if I don't protect this address, injections can take place. So these two functions, Yeah, it's a DDoS attack when you spam it with like multiple attempts. You start inserting junk into the database. So it's inaccessible, then it becomes denial of service. So these two functions here are effectively tidying up the SQL. And I'd like you to look into these just so you find out what they mean. Okay? How they work and what they do. The next part, which is this bit over here, just put this into a big notepad instead. So I'm now going to explain to you how this code works. So you guys can go and grab this code. Okay, not right now. Grab this code and make the scripts exactly the same. Okay, you make your little form. It goes to a search page. It's got the full script is right here. The whole thing is given here to you. Okay, and just adapt this. Start thinking about how this relates to what you've already done, and just adapt. Look at this bit here. You recognize this, right? The way the database has been connected to. Okay, you can modify these details, put in your own database details. You can modify your database name. You know, I expect you to get that now. Yeah, and the latter part of it is this bit I'm now going to explain, and that's it. All the forms are there, but I expect you to adapt it. Okay, so here's the last part of that particular script. Let's just put the whole thing together. Right, here you go. So, first bit, you can adapt that. This is your address, the IP address. This is your username, and this is the password. It tells you it all here clearly. Yeah. This is from the comments from the script you're given, but I would like you to modify this, not have it exactly the same. Here's your database connection that you're making. Here's your search results page. Query, get query. I've talked about these bits already. Now here we go. It's a bit we're going to talk about together. So see this, $raw results equals MySQL query. So the results are going to be put into this. Here's the query. Select star from articles. Your database is called games or something like that, right? So you can look at making that different. And look at this bit, where title like query or text like query. And for you, you've got title and you've got review, haven't you? Or genre or something like that. Yeah, you can choose any one of those. Because there's an or statement here, it will let you put anything in this query and it will work through both those fields of a database, trying to hunt down something which is similar to that word. Now this like statement is what we call a wildcard. The wildcard means that any word here, it will match anything before it or after it too. So here's some examples. Look at this here. Percentage query, percentage is what we're looking for, which means if the query is hello, it will match hello, hello man, go, go, hello. Okay? So it actually matches similar things. You don't need to be exactly precise about that word matching. Yeah? Just think of some popular games that are out there and examples of this. Just bring up something on my browser here. You can do a search for something like this, just top 10 anyway. We'll be looking for some words that are in some of them.
But craft, there are lots of crafting games, isn't there?
True. I'm doing it in my search engine here actually, because you can do that. Okay, well, one example is obviously something like a game which has lots of levels of it and lots of, you know, frequencies. I think I'll go for FIFA as example one. List. This one here, right? If I did a search for the word FIFA, okay, it would match everything with the word FIFA after it, with words after it, 1918, whatever the year is, and things before it. UEFA Euro as well, that one there. That's percentage before, that's percentage after. Okay, so that like statement, what it is doing is, it is doing a match for stuff before and after the word you've given it. Okay, that's called a wildcard. Now, if it finds a match, what it does is it brings back the results. Okay, and the results come back, and these are matching out the database to so title and text. For you, it's game title and review, or something like that, or genre. This is the output section. So this is how we're meeting the requirements to start with. That's the result stage. Okay. Now from the results, what we get back are just literally just a list of information. Later, we're going to make that into a hyperlink. So I'm going to make that into a hyperlink. Okay, so these results I'm getting here, I'm also going to include the game ID in here. I'm going to make a hyperlink out of it, and I'm going to go somewhere with it. Okay, but that's stage 2. So I'm going to get you guys to this. That one to do in the afternoon section, right? That's the afternoon block. So for now, I'm going to just work on just getting the search right here. Okay, and that's what you're going to work on now. Okay, so you've got the link, you've got the 2 scripts to access it. You need to now modify that. Okay, and the PM session, I'll do extending that to do hyperlink list. And the section is Tuesday. You got 11 till 1. What's Judy's normal time? You got 11 till
1:30.
She with it till 12:30, isn't it, with Mary? And then she does a 1 o'clock start.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Let's see. Okay, let's just get started at least with this because we've got a few things to do. Let's work just on the search. Okay, I'm gonna stop this here. I'm gonna come back and resume this next bit afterwards. This should get us to this first part here. Done. Use my tutorial, please. Start applying what I've shown you, and you need to obviously think. And I'm gonna get all of you to do this actually. I think it's better if we all do this together because it's from the same starting point. Okay. So for John and Mustafa, you'll be doing this also with us. Okay. Right. Off you go.